Whoa! Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're back today with another Tesla full self-driving video. It's Friday afternoon and we got 12.5.6.3, and I actually just uploaded a end-to-end on highways video, so definitely go check that out. But I wanted to do a quick trip down our Yorktown Beach test route and see if there's any differences now. I do expect that there's going to be some speed control improvements on higher speed roads that we'll talk about as we get there. Now, right off the bat, we're still struggling to get going when you first engage. You can see it's got a travel path indicated and the wheel is turning and everything, and I can feel it inching forward. It wants to go, and I think it will go if I give it enough time, but we're still having that issue or that bug or whatever you want to call it where the car just won't get going on its own very easily. So if you haven't gone and watched the end-to-end video yet, my first impressions on that, definitely go check it out because they knocked it out of the park on that. They did an excellent job. It feels so natural. It's such a big improvement over the previous style of driving on highways. Now, I'm watching to my left right now. There's an Amazon delivery van coming. I definitely want to wait until after they pass before we go. And it looks like the travel path has gone away. Maybe that will help us get going. Yes, it did. Awesome. All right, so left at this turn. One of the things I like about this turn, and the reason I've started doing this as my first turn on the test path now, is we actually have to use that mirror that's mounted on the telephone pole to see if things are clear. But really the only issue with this is there's hardly ever any traffic on this road, so we don't really get to see if it's doing a good job of gauging whether or not it's clear or not. Probably the best test I've had so far was on my end-to-end first impressions video. But anyway, as far as this drive goes, we can see that it's still saying that the road's 25 miles per hour. It's not. We all know that it's 35 by now. And we're going really slow, which was the same thing when I filmed the last video on my way to the interstate. It was just going really slow, and that doesn't seem to be any different now. Now, there's some water in the road up here. We did have some flooding recently. I'm looking for the car to avoid that, or else I will disengage. And it did a really good job avoiding that. It drove very wide around it. I'm very happy to see that. That's definitely a win for the car, but we are still going way too slow. And this seems to be worse than in 12.5.4.2 or whatever the heck. I think they're just putting all these dots in there now because they think it's funny to listen to all the YouTube people repeat the names of them over and over again. But we are going so slow right now. Like, this is way slower than it was before. At least before it would get up to about 30, but this is like excruciatingly slow. And as I always say, on camera, it doesn't look like it, but I know this road. I drive this road every single day. People go 35 to 38 miles per hour through here, and when you're going 10 miles an hour slower than you're used to going, it just feels horribly slow. And there is a car behind us, but they don't seem to be in any rush. In fact, they seem to be going about the same speed as us. That's a plus, but I was wondering if they got up any closer to us, if that would cause us to speed up. And then the other issue with this road is that there's just no 35 mile an hour speed limit signs anywhere until the road changes, so we don't get to see if a speed limit sign would make any difference, but we are up to about 30 miles an hour now. So anyway, for everybody who's been watching the videos, the channel's definitely been growing. I'm almost up to 50 subscribers, which to a lot of people may not seem like very much. But to me, that's absolutely crazy. I did not expect that at all. I've got a couple videos that have got over 1,000 views on them. That's crazy to me too. Thank you so much for the people watching. If you don't mind, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty of videos planned out that I'm gonna be putting out, and I think things should only get better from here. And then also, I've got my, if you're interested in buying a Tesla and getting full self-driving, I've got my referral link down in the description. Definitely go check that out and use it if you're gonna buy a car. And now's a good time to buy it. As everybody's probably picked up on by now, there was an election, and I don't know what the election means for the future of the EV federal tax credit. So right now, pretty much all of the new Teslas, or at least the Model 3s and Model Ys, qualify to get $7,500 off as a tax credit, which works really simple. If you're listening to that and thinking, there's got to be some catch with it, I've used it twice now. It's super easy. Now, the first time I used it, you actually had to pay the money up front, but it would get refunded to you when tax season came around. It's not even like that anymore. Now you literally get $7,500 off at the point of sale. And so what that means is that when you buy the car, it's a $7,500 discount, and if you're financing the car, that $7,500 comes off of your loan. Like, it's a really hard deal to beat, and there's no telling if it's going to be around once a new administration sets in. So if you want a Tesla, now's the time to buy one. I highly encourage it. They're the best cars ever. And yeah, go check out the referral link. $1,000 off any new Tesla, including the Cybertruck. So so far everything's feeling smooth. We're just going too slow. Now we're getting ready to finally pass the 35-mile-an-hour sign. Hopefully that will cause us to speed up, but it doesn't seem to be. We're really like creeping right now. 32 miles an hour through this road is entirely too slow. People are at minimum doing 40 through here, and this is definitely a regression speed-wise from whatever that last build was, the really long one, 12.5.4.2. This is slower than that, which I didn't think it was really possible to go much slower than that. But other than that, everything feels smooth so far. I don't really have any complaints. I haven't had any phantom braking yet, knock on wood. I'm sure I'll get some now that I've said that. But yeah, like I said, everything feeling good so far. We've had a lot of buses pass us. In the past, big vehicles coming up from an opposing lane would cause some phantom braking. Now, that was mainly on version 11, not version 12. But one way or another, in the Hardware 3 car, which I've got a video coming out soon comparing Hardware 3 to Hardware 4, and I don't want to spoil too much of that video, but there's a big difference in the two, and I'll leave it at that. Anyway, weather outside today is overcast. It's not raining right now. You can kind of see some blue skies up ahead, but nothing that I think should be affecting the drive very much. And we're still going really slow. Now, the previous version would have sped up by now, and I don't know why it's doing this, because the speed limit literally says 35 right there. But I've said it in past videos, I don't think that the car is paying any attention to speed limit signs. I think it's going off map data, and then I think it's going off of whatever the initial speed was that it chose to go on a straight line. And what I mean by that is, let's say we're going down a mile-long road. It's just a straight line with no stoplights, no stop signs, anything like that. Let's say the road starts off at 25, and then it increases to 35, and then it increases to 45 and 55 and so on. Whatever the original speed was that the car chose to go on that road is what it's going to go until you stop and start moving again. So you might stay doing 25 until you come up on something that causes the car to stop and then start moving again, and then it will get up to an appropriate speed. And I don't know why it does that, but anyway, as far as this drive goes, we need to kind of stage over to the right a little bit and get in this center lane, which it did an okay job on that. Oh, I see another Highland Model 3 going through the intersection right now. But I am still looking for that to improve more over time. It's early lane staging. So like, this is a perfect example of what I'm looking for. Is it's one lane, and then that lane starts to widen because you've got multiple lanes coming up. I'm looking for it to start doing a better job of indicating which lane it's going to get into. And that's not so much for me, but for the people behind us to know that, okay, I can start to go around them, or, oh, they're going the same direction as me. And it may have gotten a little bit better with time, but it's still a little bit deceiving. Like, a lot of the times when I turn left at that intersection, it's way over to the right, and I've got people like getting ready to creep by me on the left and get into the left turn lane, and then all of a sudden I'll come back over. So looking for that to improve in the future. But as far as right now, we're getting ready to be on a 55-mile-an-hour road, and this is one that it was driving way too slow on before. But one of the big things with this update is that we got the highway speed profiles now working on city streets, as long as the speed limit is above 50 miles an hour. And we can see here, it now says hurry up here, and it's got 55 miles an hour as the speed limit, but we're still going really slow. And I think it's what I was talking about just a minute ago, where once you're on a straight set of or once you're on a straight road, whatever speed the car chose to go originally is what it's going to go. So when we get up to the stoplight coming up here in a second, if we get a red light and we take off from that red light, I'll bet you we'll get right up to 55, and we might even go a little bit faster than that, being that we're on the hurry profile. So I will talk a little bit about those speed profiles, because there was a change there, and if you haven't watched my last video, my first impressions on the highway driving, then you may not know this yet. But if we go in here, now we've got chill, standard, and hurry, and I think before it was labeled chill, average, and assertive, so a little bit different name changes. And really, before, the speed profiles only were working on the highway. They weren't doing anything on city streets. Now the only time they are doing anything on city streets is when, like I said a minute ago, you've got a speed limit 50 miles an hour or above. And then the max speed offset is new as well. So in the previous version, it was just auto max. It would just decide what the max speed the car could go is, and you didn't really have any input in it. Now it's got this max speed offset, and it recommends you keeping it at 40 miles an hour. And what that's doing, like if I scroll my wheel, I don't know how well y'all can see that, it says right now 77 max. And that might sound crazy at first, but that does not mean that the car is going to try to go 77. That just means that that is the fastest that it can go. And like a good example of that would be, you saw that the car was only doing like 45 when there was nobody in front of us. But maybe if we were in a situation where traffic was going way over the speed limit and it was safer for us to move with the flow of traffic, we're allowing the car to get up to that speed, and 77 would be the max that it could get up to. So anyway, making this right-hand turn, I'm looking to see if it makes it a little bit quicker than the previous build. Before, it was a little bit slow through this turn. Now, we also had a little bit of a slow start going into the turn, but that actually felt good. It was smooth. I didn't notice any weird movement in the wheel like I've noticed before, where it starts to cut the corner too tight and then has to correct itself. That felt pretty good. Real smooth through this turn. We'll see what speed it chooses to get up to here. It's been doing anywhere from 35 to maybe sometimes a little bit above 40 through here. So we'll see what speed it chooses to go now. And it looks like we're a little bit slow again. So overall on the non-50 mile an hour, well, even on the 50 mile an hour roads, it seems like this build is slower than the previous one, which is not exactly what I expected. I thought if anything, Tesla would hear the swath of people out there saying, this is driving too slow, this is driving too slow. But then again, this is the first wide release where they've got end-to-end on highways, and then pretty much any time they put out a new wide release, it's always really cautious on the first release of it. So maybe that's just a little bit of what we're experiencing here. But it didn't seem very cautious on the highway to me. Definitely, I keep saying it, go check that video out. The car did some amazing moves on the highway, and when you put it on the hurry profile, it hurries. I mean, it was aggressive, it cut some tight lane changes, it did a lot of passing, and it did it all so naturally that I just couldn't even believe it. I was mind blown by it. So if you have the update and you haven't used it, go try it out on the highway, or at least go watch my video. It's pretty cool. That truck kind of cut them off. They had the right of way there. But we're clear to the left. We can go ahead and go. We came to our complete stop. The car's taken off nicely. I'm still not noticing any of that correction in the steering wheel that I've been seeing in previous versions. And it looks like we're going to go too slow through here as well. So without a doubt, this version's driving slower than the previous. So clearly there was some sort of change to city street driving. And why in the world they would do anything that makes it drive any slower, I don't know. Or maybe there's more of a change to the city streets than I'm thinking that there is, and so they're just being really cautious until they get some data in about how well it's doing. I'm thinking maybe based on the fact that doesn't seem to be yet anyway, doing that steering wheel correction, that maybe there are some bigger changes to the city street than what I was thinking before. Hey, it's me, and I'm recording this audio the day after I shot this video. And I just wanted to say that there were indeed a lot of changes to the city street driving stack that I didn't realize while I was shooting this video, because I was so convinced at the time that the only change in this update was end-to-end on highways. I ended up going on a 2.5-hour road trip today and used FSD the whole time, and I started picking up on things that I didn't pick up on during this video that were drastically improved. The first thing is deceleration. I didn't even notice it while filming this video because it felt so natural, but it seems like all of the instances of late or harsh braking, or those times where it would slow down way too early and then creep to a stop, are totally gone, and the deceleration feels 100% human-like now. On top of that, the smoothness overall is much better than it was on the previous version. As I had mentioned a moment ago, the steering wheel correction for the most part is totally gone. And lastly, even though the car is driving slower on a lot of roads than it did on the previous version, there is a noticeable improvement on roads with speed limits 50 miles per hour or greater. Now, we didn't really catch any good examples of that during this video, but after using it for a while today, I can definitely say that there's big improvements there. So Luckily, for the most part, the people behind us have been pretty patient. I feel bad for them because I really want to be going faster, but I'm not going to intervene on this drive unless it's a safety thing. And so they're just going to have to deal with me for a little while. Now, we are creeping up now that the car behind us is getting a little bit closer, but we're still not up to the speed limit. I mean, we're going well below, and I've talked about it before, but this speedometer is a mile an hour faster than what we're actually doing anyway. So we're really doing like 36 miles an hour, but as I keep saying, luckily the people behind us are pretty patient. Now, I think we're about to have a disengagement. We've got a school zone and the lights are flashing, and I don't think that the car is going to slow down for it. We'll give it a second and see, but actually we're getting some braking, but we're still going 10 over. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and intervene. I'm not going to speed through a school zone at 10 over. I am going to go ahead and re-engage, and so I've re-engaged and I bumped the pedal to get us back up to about 25. Glad I slowed down. There's a cop. This is another good example of whatever speed it's going on a straight road is what it's going to stay, because there's no reason that when I re-engaged it should stay at 25. I would expect it to try to speed back up to the speed limit, but it doesn't do very good at dynamic speed changes, whatever you want to call it, in straight lines. So we're going to end up creeping at 25 miles an hour all the way up to this intersection, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, we should be speeding back up, getting back up to the speed limit and going with the flow of traffic, and the SUV behind me is probably like, what the heck is this guy doing? Get out of my way. But anyway, coming up to the red light, we should be taking a right. Seems like there's a little bit of traffic coming from the left, so we'll keep an eye on that. So we're going to need to wait here for a minute. It's doing a good job waiting. It's not doing any creeping forward, acting like it's going to pull out. It just feels rock solid sitting here. So it looks like the people to our left have a red light. We just got a green arrow. The car went before the green arrow. It was ready. I liked that. That's exactly what I would have done. So merging onto Route 17 here, I'm looking to see is it still going to try to merge over into the center lane like it did on previous versions. If you don't know by now, we need to stay in the right lane because we've got a right-hand turn that comes up pretty shortly. But it seems like it's just following typical merging behavior where pretty much every merge you do, you immediately get out of the merge lane and into a lane to the left. So that's what it's going to do. And it's saying that the speed limit here is 55. Now, it just saw that 45 sign and went back down to 45, but I saw the hurry up here for the speed profile. And once again, it chose to go 55 because it thought that's what the speed limit is. And even though we had a speed limit sign that brought the speed down, we're sticking to the speed that we were originally going. So I'm pretty certain about the fact that as long as you're going in a straight line, it's not very good at changing speeds when speed limits change. So we're turning right here in just a moment. I think those bump signs are new. That's interesting. It's not really much of a bump. But anyway, we're turning right here. I'm looking to see what kind of speed it carries through this turn. Last couple builds, it's been a little bit slow through here. That felt really good. That felt much better than before, until it did that. You could kind of see there for a second. It wanted to slam the brakes when it saw that car coming, but it didn't, so that's an improvement. Definitely a difference in the speed that we're carrying through here. I think the last two videos I did through here, we were going about 35. Now we're closer to the actual speed limit. This is a 25 mile an hour road. I kind of liked when it would go 35 through here just because I think this is too slow. But we're carrying good speed through here. Better than in the past when it would creep through here at like 20, so I guess that's something, that's a plus. We'll see if it hits the brakes through this corner like it's been doing in the last couple builds. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe not quite as bad as it was in the previous ones. Doing a good job speeding up out of there though. I think there's definitely some smoothness upgrades to city streets. I think I can say that without a doubt. Just the speed control seems to be a little bit worse. I would think that we're headed in a direction though. Uh-oh, it's slowing down for this intersection again. It's been a while since it's done that. That was a version 12.3 behavior. Okay. I may have to circle back through here on the way back home and try that a couple more times and see if that recurs. Because that was definitely gone in all my other 12.5 builds. Like I said, in version 12.3 everything 12.3, it would almost come to a complete stop there like it was a 4-way stop or a 3-way stop, when in reality we don't have a stop sign. So that's interesting to see it do that again. But anyway, I was saying a second ago, I think we're headed in a direction where the 3 speed profiles are going to be like for every, not just city street, or not just highways or city streets above 50 miles an hour. I think Tesla's eventually going to make the speed profiles work everywhere that you drive. I mean, at least that would make sense to me, because you've got people who have different driving preferences, and some people might want to go a little bit slower, and some people might want to go right about the speed limit. And then you've got the majority of normal people who want to get to wherever they're going as quickly as humanly possible. And they're going to want to use the hurry profile. So I think that seeing them come to 50 mile an hour city streets means one of two things. We're either slowly progressing towards them being on every road, or that was the only way that Tesla could figure out how to make the stupid car go the speed limit on faster roads. So it's one of the two things, or maybe it's even both. Maybe for the time being that was a temporary fix for greater than 50 mile an hour roads, and we're headed there for all roads. I don't know. I hope it's for all roads. So through here, we should be going a little bit quicker. Speed limit's 45. We're doing under the speed limit. That seems to be a trend throughout the whole video so far. As I keep saying, speed control definitely a little bit of a regression as far as how fast it decides to go. And we're actually losing speed now. We're down to 43. And if it's still got any kind of speed decay issues when we're not using speed profiles, we're going to be going pretty slow by the time we get to our next turn, which is up here in about, actually, 1 mile on the dot. So this car has actually been sitting in my garage for a couple days. I ceramic coated it over the weekend, I think. I can't remember. A lot of time's gone by now. So I haven't been driving it, but I see in the time that it's been sitting, it hasn't stopped rattling at all. I'm planning on changing the name of the car. Right now it's the Stealth Bomber. I'm going to change it to the Rattle Factory. If you've got a Highland Model 3, or specifically a Highland Model 3 Performance, I'd be interested to know if your car rattles inside as bad as mine. There just seems to be rattles everywhere. In the dash, there's one to the right of the passenger seat. My driver's seat creaks horrible. Like when I scoot up and down on it or move around or put any pressure on it, it makes weird creaking noises. There's just so many rattles in this car, which is really a disappointment. Even when I bought the car, if you watch I put out a video a while ago, FSD Cruise with no destination, put in the GPS. I talked a lot about it there, but there was a really bad dash rattle when I first bought the car. And Tesla ended up having to fix it, but it was like anytime you were going above 20, 25 miles an hour and you were on any kind of a road, no matter smooth, bumpy, whatever, it sounded like marbles under the dash. It was horrible. But anyway, enough about the rattles and my complaining. We're going to be making a left at this intersection. It doesn't look like we're going to get much interaction with anybody. I don't see any other cars coming. But going to come to a complete stop, taking off and making a left. Nothing, a little bit weird through that turn. You probably couldn't see it on the camera, but there was a little bit of uncertainty or something in the wheel. But overall, that was good. Nothing to write home about. Up here, we're going to be making a right onto Allens Mill Road. Kind of a tight, narrow, 30 mile an hour road, I believe. So it looks like one of these cars oncoming is going to turn behind us. Never mind, they're just driving with their signal on for no reason. That's cool. I didn't really want them behind us on this road anyway. But we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to go really slow through here. So based off of the slower driving behavior in on all the other roads, I don't expect it to go over 30 on this road. And on a kind of different subject, I was watching some FSD videos earlier. We just ran over an already dead squirrel. It's kind of gross. I didn't really notice it until last second. But I was watching see a little bit of twitchiness in the wheel there, and we're going way too slow right now. Like, there's no reason for us to be doing 23. But I was watching some other FSD videos earlier, and I was watching a guy who had set his destination to a grocery store or something, and 12.5.6.3, which is what we're on, actually went and pulled forward into a parking spot without him having to do anything. And it wasn't like I've seen on previous FSD builds where it does like a kind of not that great parking job. It did like a really good parking job. So I may go do some testing on that once this video is done being filmed and see if the car will park itself. Because I did see on X his name's Ashok, whatever his position is now, VP of AI or something like that. He had made a post about how now FSD is using end-to-end on highways, city streets, and he specifically said parking lots, which I kind of assumed that it was already happening in parking lots, but I've never heard them refer to it before, and to see them specifically call out parking lots and then see a video where the guy's car parked itself, whoa. Whew. Okay, that one kind of got my heart going. Now, FSD handled that really well, but that truck came flying around that corner, way over the yellow lines onto our side. And that was a scenario where I would have expected FSD to slam the brakes, but it actually smoothly went over to the right-hand side of the road and slowed down. And now, we were already going too slow anyway, and it always goes too slow through that turn, but that was really well handled. I'll hand it to the car on that one. I'm pretty happy with how it did that, and I expected some really violent movement there. And I was actually halfway questioning whether or not he was going to hit us. And I was, if he did, not that I want to figure out what the car would do, but I was kind of interested to see what would FSD do if somebody hit us. I mean, that would be a banger of a video. So anyway, coming up to this curve, let's see what kind of speed it carries through here. It might do okay considering the truck in front of us is, you know, kind of setting the pace for how fast we should go. And that felt good. Nothing significantly different there that I noticed. Up here at this stop sign, we're going to be taking a right. I find this weather kind of funny today. It's like every other road we turn on, we either have completely clear or partly cloudy skies, or we're under, like, it looks like it could start pouring raining at any point. So this truck is clear to go now, but looks like they're going to wait on some more traffic. And I think after they go, we're probably going to be clear. Yeah, we are clear to the left. These people are going to turn on the road that we're on. Our car goes. That was very well handled. Let's see what speed it chooses to go here. You can see a speed limit sign is 45. We might actually get up to that considering this is the first speed it's choosing to go on a straight line. And yeah, we're up to 45. I'm happy with that. I would like to see it go a little bit faster than that, but at this point, anytime it does the speed limit, I'm a pretty happy camper. Now, in the past, I've noticed some phantom braking right about here. I'm interested to see if it does it again. You could kind of see some of the, yep, there it goes. That little brake tap through there. And I'm interested if that's even enough to turn our brake lights on. I would think so. But I just don't see what it is that's causing it to do that. There's like a little gravel path that comes off or comes onto this road from the right. I don't see why that would have any impact on it, but it definitely does it every single time we drive through there. But those are the kind of behaviors that it's interesting to go back and watch these videos over time and see whether or not they go away or not. And I'm really excited once we get through this intersection. This is a road that the car has never done the speed limit on, but the speed limit is 50, and that's enough to get that speed profile going. We should click over into the hurry speed profile, so I'm very interested to see if we finally go the speed limit on this next road. And in all fairness, most people driving through here don't, but the speed limit's the speed limit, and I would prefer the car actually go the speed limit. So we'll see what it does. All right, here we go. We got a green light. We're getting ready to pass the 50-mile-an-hour sign. We're in this hurry speed profile, but it doesn't seem like we're going to go the speed limit. And the reason I think for that is when we took off from the stoplight, the speed limit was 45. It had already chosen what speed it wanted to go, and seeing a speed limit sign, like I keep saying, it just doesn't seem to make any difference. Now we are up to 45, so maybe I'm going to be wrong, but we should, if we were going to go any faster than this, we should already be up to that speed. We've had plenty of time. Now, something I do think I've noticed now that I'm thinking about it, I think that the acceleration might be a little bit smoother, maybe a little bit slower, which that's not a bad thing. It was accelerating really hard in 12.5.4.2. It's the last time I'm saying that. I'm tired of saying all those points. It was accelerating really hard at times, which I don't particularly mind, but I can imagine some people don't really care for that. And I haven't noticed that this drive, so that actually might be another change. Let's see if it slows down for these railroad tracks at all. Not really. And it doesn't really need to. They're relatively smooth. So we're going to be making a left at this stop sign. No traffic from either direction. We got a truck way over there to the right, but it's nowhere near enough to interfere with us. So we're pulling out really slow right now. Oh wow, yeah, this is a big difference from the last time I drove through here. We are going way slower than we should be. The speed limit through here is 35, and the car has been on previous last couple drive through here. It's been doing a pretty good job going about 35, 40. We are doing 28 right now. And I also find it interesting, something's clearly wrong with map data because it says that the speed limit's 50, but it's like the car knows that it's not because there's no speed profile listed up there. So that's kind of interesting, but one way or another, this is entirely too slow through here. Now, maybe if it was like Sunday and I was cruising to church and there was nobody else in the world that existed that could possibly come up behind me and it was a beautiful day outside, maybe I'd go this slow, but this is ridiculous. I mean, we're going so slow it didn't even have to slow down through this turn. All right, so it feels like we might be creeping up a little bit now. We're almost up to 30. But, I mean, we should be doing 35 easy. 35, 38, 40 miles an hour. We certainly shouldn't be doing 29. All right, we're finally up to 30. And now look, now it says that there's a, now it says that we're on the hurry speed profile. And we do seem to be speeding up a little bit. I mean, not very much. We sped up 3 miles an hour. We're still not even going the speed limit. We're working our way up to it, but we're not there yet. And there's just no reason why we shouldn't be. I'm glad the van got to pull out in front of us. All right, we're finally at the speed limit. That's a plus. And then we're going to pass this speed limit sign, which is going to cause the hurry profile to go away. And I can immediately feel the car start slowing back down. And I don't know if that's because of the van in front of us. They were going a little bit slower than us for a second, but now they're speeding up. We got another car pulling out in front of the van. Once again, glad they got out in front of us or else they're going to be late to wherever they're going. Okay, we're finally above the speed limit. Now, I would be doing solidly 40 miles an hour right now. A lot of people through this stretch of this road are doing 45. The speed limit should probably be 45, but it's not. But anyway, at least we're going at or above the speed limit now. Now, the van just slowed us down, so we'll see how that impacts us. Now we're actually getting up to 40. Now, this feels good. This is the speed we should have been going the whole time. But anyway, up here in a second, we're going to be making a right onto Cook Road. Interested to see how it handles this. When we turn right, the speed limit will be 45. We'll pass a sign that says that, and then we'll pass another sign that says 55. I don't anticipate it actually going the speed limit, but it would be nice if it did. All right, coming up to the stop sign now, we've got a Civic behind us who just flew up behind us. So they're clearly looking to go faster than what we're going, but they might just be out of luck there. So we are clear to the left. We're going to come to a complete stop and we're going to turn. I'm not sure which direction they're going because they don't feel the need to use turn signals. Looks like they're going to come the same direction as us. Once again, the acceleration curve is absolutely different on this build. We're accelerating way smoother, but way slower. And then, here comes our 55 mile an hour speed limit sign. And so we should click over to a, okay, it didn't even notice it. I think there's one that said 45 minimum or 45 trucks. I think it might have read that one and it just didn't even pick up on the 55 mile an hour speed limit sign. So that doesn't really give us a good test on whether or not the speed profile was going to help us here or not. We're doing 46. It's not the worst that we could do. A lot of people do 45 through here just because there's a lot of deer that come out through these woods. It's not uncommon for people to hit deer coming through here. But I do wish it would be going a little bit quicker. Our friend in the Civic is coming up behind us again. We'll see if they have any impact on our speed. So it doesn't look like they impacted our speed at all. We're still carrying about 47. I can feel the car starting to slow down a tad. Now the speed limit is dropping to 35, but I don't anticipate it doing anything. Once again, it's that whole straight line deal. And then we're coming up to an intersection where we should be making a left. So after this car, we're clear to go. Perfectly handled, very smooth. And then immediately we should be making a right-hand turn. I'm looking to see if it's any better through this right-hand turn. Sometimes it wants to cut it too close to the right. It wants to go down this path to our right. So it still looks like it wants to do that. You can see it correct itself and get back in line. We are going really slow, and then this road is causing all kinds of rattles in my rattle factory car. So we're almost to the end. Overall, this has been a really good drive. I mean, it's a little bit slow, but other than the slowness, this has been a good drive. It's been a smooth drive. Hardly any phantom braking. There was that little pedal tap when we were on, I think it was Wolf Trap Road. There was like a little tap of the brakes, but it wasn't unpleasant at all. Overall, this has been very smooth. I don't think, did I intervene? Yeah, we did have a disengagement for the school zone. That's nothing new there. If it did slow down for the school zone, I would have been shocked by that. Now we've got some people standing in the middle of the road up here. Looks like they're gonna move because they don't want to get hit by a car, which is wise. I don't know why they don't want to use the sidewalk, but we're actually giving her plenty of room. I'm happy to see that. Some of the 12.5 builds have been way too tight with pedestrians, and so we shouldn't be slowing down right now. I'm glad they just went instead of waiting on us because we're being stupid. We don't have a stop sign. We could just roll right through there, and sometimes that gets really awkward, so I was just looking over to the left and I was going to ignore them. So we're carrying good speed through here. Sometimes we just go like 8 miles an hour, which is just agonizingly slow right now, but this feels really good. And I'm interested up here if it pulls over to the side of the road like it should. Now I'm not sure why, but my pen keeps moving over into this field, so I'm going to move it back to where the pullover is, which is where I've always had it set at, because I want to see if the car pulls over and parks. Now the last couple times I've come through here though, the road has been blocked, so it might not even be able to. We're coming to a full stop for this stop sign. We're immediately going. That felt good. Can y'all hear that rattle? It sounds like a loose screw or something. I mean, we're doing 11 miles an hour on a relatively smooth road, and the car's rattling. Rattle factory. Still love the car, though. I'm just going to bring it to Tesla one day and put in a ticket that says rattling everywhere, and I'm just going to let them drive it around and fix as many of them as they can. And if I've got to pay for it, then so be it, but a car this nice, new, and quiet inside should not have all these rattles. Now, these trucks up here are parked right where we're supposed to pull over at, so I doubt that we're going to be able to pull over. It'll probably try turning left down this road, and then it will just start looping around. Or is it actually going to pull over, just not in there? Looks like it can't really decide what it wants to do. Okay, it's going to come to a stop here. I don't hate that. So anyway, overall, that was a good drive. One disengagement for the school zone, but nothing really out of the usual there. Very smooth overall. It drove a little bit too slow. Seems like some of the corrections during turns, when it would take the turn too tight initially and then have to correct, it seems like some of that is gone. I'll probably go mess around in some parking lots now, like I said earlier, and see if there actually is any differences in parking lots. And I'll probably hit the interstate too and just do some more end-to-end stuff. Might film some of it. But anyway, if you watched the whole video, I really appreciate it. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Got plenty more videos coming. And until the next one comes out, goodbye.